Yes, it's blurry, but this is the first leaked photo that we have of the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, and we're pretty clear that this is a full-frame camera. And is that a tele light on the front, like we see on the Canon EOS R5 Mark II? And when will it be announced? Will it be announced in the first week of November? A source just came forward with a date, but is it confirmed? Click subscribe and we'll get right to it. It means more to us than seeing a humpback whale for the first time and seeing a bird on a rock. Hi, I'm Simon, your friendly stamp collecting landscape photographer that scans the news and rumor sites so that you don't have to, saving you more time for those important things like watching reruns of three grumpy old men constantly getting into trouble. This video is about the latest leaked image of what we believe to be the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, although there can be an argument made for the R7 II. And we also have a slightly tighter estimate on the announcement date. Now, Canon is about to release two cameras, the R7 Mark II and the R6 Mark III. We can deduce that this is the Mark III despite it being a very blurry image. The eye cup design is closer to the design that we would see on a full-frame camera, like the R5 Mark II. And the camera strap lugs? Well, they're also in keeping with a full-frame camera. But if the R7 Mark II is getting the baby R1 treatment, as Canon rumors said earlier this year, could Canon be giving the R7 Mark II a professional body? Sure, it's possible. This image is far too blurry for us to know for sure. But as I've said earlier this week, leaked photos and specs will start to appear this week if we're expecting a late October or early November announcement. And while Canon rumors was 99% sure that we would see the R6 Mark III announced on November the 16th or the 26th, they're now saying we can now 100% confirm that the EOS R6 Mark III will enter our lives in November. Oh, doesn't that sound pleasant? Enter our lives. I do like the sound of that. Now, I don't give those previous dates that Canon rumors has talked about of November the 16th and the 26th any credit because one falls on a Sunday and the other one in Thanksgiving. Now, Canon rumors here has said that they're giving credit to, or they're saying that 100% we have two dates in November. And you notice they didn't double down on those particular dates that they talked about previously. Hopefully, I mean, for me personally, a Sunday night is easy to cover, and so is Thanksgiving. But these are announcement dates that, well, they're not shipping dates. They can be whenever Canon wants them to be. They're arbitrary. And when it comes to setting dates, Canon very carefully looks around the world and takes a look at, well, first of all, what holidays are in place? Are these big enough holidays that we want to try to avoid having an announcement? What's going on in Europe, North America, South America, Asia? They look at all this stuff and then they ask the question, okay, who do we want to run with this? Do we want it to be Tokyo, which means 10 o'clock in the morning their time, and it's usually one of those, we usually have anywhere from 10 p.m. to midnight for one of those. Sometimes it's the UK or Europe, and that means, like the R5 Mark II, it's an early morning 5 a.m. announcement. It's just really hard to say. So what I did is I reached out to a previous source, and I was told that there are NDA dates. Both of them are next month. There's an awful lot going on here. We got the R7 Mark II, the R6 Mark III, 4 lenses, and one of those lenses is going to be the much anticipated 300 to 600 millimeter f4 to 5.6. And that's really interesting because, well, Sigma, excuse me. Well, that's interesting. So a source has just come forward saying that they overheard one of these dates is going to be November the 4th. I asked about the R6 Mark III, potentially. I just heard that one of these dates in November is November the 4th. The person didn't tell me the time, the time zone. So it could be anything. Now, November the 4th, let me check my calendar. What is that? Don't tell me it's a Sunday, because if it's a Sunday, I know I'm being punked. Calendar. November the 4th, that's a Tuesday. That's very Canon-like. They seem to like doing Tuesdays. Well, I appreciate the source coming forward, and I do. Anybody who's brought me information that they've overheard, it's very much appreciated. This person is somebody I've dealt with in the past, and they've come forward with credible information most of the time. However, as is with the case with a lot of sources, this person isn't the person hearing the information. They've overheard from another party. So at this point, while it's exciting, I'm not ready to confirm this date. I'm kind of knocked me off the puck now because, and this does happen sometimes when somebody reaches out to me with some information. The very first thing I do is quickly come down here, put out a video, and then try to get it out the door. But and sometimes they'll then follow up with other information. Sometimes they'll text me, sometimes they'll email me, and sometimes I get a call. And so that's kind of knocked me off the puck here. So let me just say this: if you've overheard anything that you can share with my viewers, please reach out to me at simondyates@gmail.com because things are starting to shake up pretty fast and furious. I mean, how many dates do we have now? I've had 3 sources now saying we've got 2 dates in November, we've got 1 date in November, 1 date in October, another one saying we have a November announcement without providing any information. So I think we'll probably start to get some date clarification very, very soon. And this kind of tells me, if we're hearing a lot of dates, it sounds like Canon is preparing to come out with their teaser images and videos. And when they start working on those, dates start to leak out from not necessarily Canon, but from others. Anyhow, one thing I take away from this video is we have our very first blurry image, a series of potential dates, but as yet we don't have any leaked specifications. We have thoughts of specifications. We don't have the actual date. We have possible dates. And we don't have the price, although we have a pretty good idea of where the price is going to be because the direct competitor is the Nikon Z6 Mark III, and take a look at it here. It's on sale in anticipation of Canon announcing the R6 Mark III. It's currently $2,099 at B&H in Adorama, and over at Wex Photo and Video, it's $21.99, and over in Germany at Photoclaw, it's $22.99. I'm going to keep my eyes and ears tuned in as I expect more to leak out over the next couple of weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if something actually came out over the weekend. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. It does mean an awful lot to us. So to sum things up, this is what is expected on the roadmap for 2024. 2 camera bodies, the Canon EOS R6 Mark III and potentially even the Canon EOS R7 Mark II. I have sources saying that both are coming, but no dates. And we have the 300 to 600 millimeter f4 to 5.6 that we keep hearing about. I've heard nothing other than, well, there's a big lens announcement that's happening in November. The Canon RF 45 millimeter f1.4L and the 20 to 50 millimeter were leaked by Canon India. And Canon Rumors says that we're getting a 24 to 70 f2.8 VCM. And that's certainly enough goodies to spread out over 3 announcements, although the general consensus right now is that we're getting 2 announcements. So what's going on here? Well, normally, again, I've mentioned this before, announcements kind of wrap up in that first week of November. And we've got Canon Rumors coming out saying we got 2 dates in November, the 16th and the 26th. Now, I don't give credence to those 2 particular dates. It doesn't make sense to me. But in terms of 2 announcements in November, well, I just had another source coming forward today saying we got 2 in November. And I had another source earlier this week say we have a November announcement. Now, that doesn't mean that something isn't going to come out in October. The one source that told me we have 2 announcements in November did tell me an announcement is coming in October. And if that's the case, I'm predicting kind of a late October. So at this point, there's a potential of 3 dates, but consensus is saying that we've got 2 dates. And if you are interested in pre-ordering the Canon EOS R6 Mark III or any of the other products due to be announced over the next quarter, then please consider using my affiliate links. As you've noticed down below, I now have representation in the United Kingdom with Wex Photo and Video, so thank you for joining my affiliate links, Wex. And so for those of you in the UK that would like to purchase without having to deal with customs and all that wonderful stuff, please consider using my Wex affiliate links down below. And somebody who just joined me this week is Photoclaw. My German is terrible. I'm doing my best to try and get better at this, and thank you for the comments. Some of you offering me advice on how to enunciate it. But I'd like to welcome them as a retailer serving all of Europe. If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying locally, then please consider using Photoclaw. I really do like just the sense of the people there, trying to offer good products at a good price. And I think, well, they've already got a few sales on right now. Nothing too huge, but the R6 Mark II is on sale. And of course, in the United States, Adorama and B&H. And I myself personally, I purchased from Patrick at Downtown Camera in Toronto. I think it's a great local camera store. They're a single unit, but they ship throughout Canada. Patrick's great. Give him a call and mention my name and see if he can sharpen his pencil if you live in Canada. But for when I can't get stuff in Canada, I always default to B&H. One thing I love about B&H is if you're looking at buying something that you've just never really dealt with before and you've got some questions, you can get into a chat with them, or you can actually have a video call with them. And I like their service. I've never had any issues. And yeah, so this channel isn't all about money, or you'd see sponsorship links, and it is very much viewer supported. So when I try to bring somebody on, I'm looking at bringing on retailers that have a good reputation. And in terms of photocall, well, the only reason I reached out to them is when I was seeking advice on who I should bring into the affiliate program. Many of you mentioned them, and so that's why I brought them in, or I reached out to them, is because you guys said we had good experience with them. And please, in the comment section down below, the retailers that you purchased through, mention them. I have no problem with that at all. Just don't put links, because YouTube will automatically hide your comments. So just mention who they are, the type of experience you've had, and that will help others, especially if it's some of the retailers that I have listed as my affiliate links. Now, one thing about photocall, don't have any short links at this point. That's why you see in the lower third here, it doesn't have a link like the others. So I do have a rather large, longer link, and if you please use that entire link, then it works. So hopefully, you know what, let me check. Something else might be coming through. Things are really happening fast today. Nope, let me just check here. It might be, I can't tell where things are pinging from anymore. I get so many pings going on a daily basis. Yeah, I don't know what pinged. So let's put that away. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. It's viewer supported. Without you, I literally wouldn't be able to keep the lights on. Your support, the support of my wife, my family, enables me to do this as a second job. I have a passion for cameras. I love them. I've got a few of them here, which is this one here. This is the R5 II, my run and gun camera. The R5 is what I'm shooting with here. I've got the Canon 70D, and this is got to be the oldest camera that I have. It's the Fujica film camera, to remind me where we came from. And that's why I like to populate this with various cameras. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, one other thing, Profusion. I'm going to be attending Profusion on November the 6th. Now, that's assuming that Canon doesn't throw out an announcement on the 6th. If they do, I'll cover the announcement and then I'll attend the trade show. So if you're interested in attending, it's absolutely free. It's at the Metro Toronto Convention Center. And if you're in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, or even Vermont, it's not too far away. And with that Canadian dollar, you get a discount if you stay at a hotel. Highly recommended. It's one of the best trade shows to attend. Not the biggest, but it has everything all in one place, photo and video. Anyhow, thanks so much for tuning in. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Most likely, very soon.